Well, hello everyone, and welcome to week 2 of the course. I think as I told you in our introductory video that each week I'll put up a very brief video that will summarize what we covered in the preceding week and then summarize what we're going to be covering in the current week. Sometimes I get a little long with these videos, and so I've made a concerted effort to try and truncate them a bit to make them a little bit more to the point and a little bit quicker. So hopefully we'll get through about 10 minutes in this video. If I go beyond that, I do apologize, but I'll try not to in future videos. But again, this is your welcome to week 2 video. You had a chance during week 1 to do some of the introductory reading and to post your multimedia discussion board introduction to yourself. Some of the topics that we covered in week 1, we looked at the 4 different sources of ethics: duties, virtues, principles, and benefits to society. We also had a chance to take a look at what practitioners think about ethics and values and which values are most important, most significant for those practitioners. We saw that honesty, integrity, benevolence, lawfulness, incorruptibility were your top 5 values that were really held in very high esteem by public administrators and practitioners. We also talked about the importance of ethics in terms of dealing with citizens, because many of us are what Michael Lipsky calls those street level bureaucrats. And so we come into contact with citizens on a daily basis. And so the intersection there with ethics are things such as transparency, the need to be as transparent and open as possible, the need for inclusiveness, to include people in decision making, responsiveness. Obviously, that's one of the major values that underpins the entire discipline of public administration, important for us as well in a discussion of ethics. Ability to represent, being representative of our public and our population. Again, another one of those core values that underlies the entire discipline of public administration. A value for pluralism, that if people are interested in participating, they have avenues for participation. Kind of that what we call in the world of federalism, that multiple crack theory of Morton Grodson's, that there are multiple cracks in the system that allow people to participate in decision making if they are so inclined, that decisions are just not the domain of a small cadre of corporations or elected officials. And participative, that our governing system is participative, and we try and allow people the opportunity, afford them the opportunity to participate in their own governance. This theme of the intersection between ethics and public administration is really at the very core of this class. And I think if you're looking for a thread that ties the entire course together in each week to the preceding week, that thread you're going to find will be the intersection or the nexus between ethical adherence and public administration. So as we move into week 2, building upon what we learned and what we had read about in week 1, as we move into week 2, we will get into that topic of the responsibilities, the ethical responsibilities of public administrators, how public administrators need to put public interest first. And that is one of the core values of the American Society for Public Administration, or ASPA. Displaying a service orientation, being committed to procedural fairness, being bound to uphold the law in all instances, to exhibit and model fiduciary responsibility, to support the democratic process. And so as ethics play out in public administration, oftentimes those are the core elements that we expect our public administrators to demonstrate, if you will, as ethical administrators. We will also this week get into some of the theories of ethics as they pertain to public administration. We will look at a deontological approach, where we will look at settled accepted values and how those settled accepted values then guide ethical behavior. We'll look at a utilitarian approach, where we will look at the consequences of behavior and talk about how those consequences then can shape future behavior. When we look at these different theories, whether they be deontology or whether they be utilitarianism, it's important for us to recognize that they are not mutually exclusive. And one way that we will underscore the idea of them not being mutually exclusive is through the discussion of this theory known as the ethics triangle. You have a video this week provided for you in your resources on the ethics triangle. There's a good portion of your textbook, at least the readings for this week, that are geared around a discussion of the ethics triangle, showing to you that these theories are not mutually exclusive and that principles, consequences, and virtue can all work together in helping us determine how we are going to behave and how we are going to act. So that's just a really brief preview of some of the major theories and the major topics that you're going to be looking at here in week number 2. On your screen, you'll see I've pulled up the learning activities for week 2. And again, this as I keep these closed until the weekend before the week begins. But when you take a look at that, you'll see your major readings, or you have chapters 3 and 4 in the primary textbook. Then we have some videos there for you, one on Kant, one on utilitarianism, John Stuart Mill, one on Thomas Hobbes and contractualism, and one on Aristotle and virtue theory. So as you scroll down, you will see, as always, you've got your Ask Your Instructor. So if you have any questions this week, feel free to post those in the Ask Your Instructor forum. Then you have your Kant video, your utilitarianism video, your Hobbes video, your Aristotle and virtue theory video, and a video on this idea of ethics triangle that I just mentioned a few minutes ago. So several videos for you to watch. None of them are terribly long, usually in the range of about 9 or 10 minutes, but please do view those videos as they're good supplemental information to add to what you are reading in your textbook. Then in terms of your activities for this week, you've got 3 things that you will be doing in addition to your reading and watching of the videos. The first is a Zoom room discussion. The purpose of the Zoom room discussion is to get you using this platform known as Zoom to collaborate with each other, to communicate and collaborate. I'm using Zoom for this lecture. I use Zoom for all of my lecture videos. I think it's a very user-friendly, very easy type of platform to use. If you have not used Zoom before, I've provided for you the website there. You just click on that link. You can create a free Zoom account. Once you create a free Zoom account, you can set up a meeting time, an actual meeting within that Zoom account. And then I'm asking that you arrange to meet with at least 2 other people from the course, 2 of your colleagues, for at least 2 minutes in that Zoom room. So in order to find people who are available, you can feel free to email the class through Blackboard, or you may post an announcement in the Ask Your Instructor area. Again, just trying to find a common meeting time whereby you can meet with at least 2 of your colleagues. What you discuss in that brief Zoom meeting really doesn't matter that much. If you want to discuss class material, that's absolutely fine. If you want to just discuss, your work or family or home life, whatever you want, the whole purpose of this is just to get you introduced to Zoom as a platform and to give you a little experience using Zoom to connect with and collaborate with some of your colleagues. So that's your first assignment. Again, you'll go to that link, create a Zoom account, set up a Zoom meeting, and then invite folks to come to your Zoom meeting. Then you have your multimedia discussion board assignment. So you're familiar with this. You did it last week. You've done it in previous courses. But what you'll do is develop a PowerPoint presentation. And then in that PowerPoint presentation, you'll be exploring the different theories that we covered this week. Again, theories of Aquinas, Kant, utilitarianism, Thomas Hobbes. What I want you to do is give a brief explanation of each of those 4 main theories that we cover in class this week. Then I would ask that you select 2 of those theories and relate them to public administration. Show some examples of how 2 of those theories apply in the quote-unquote real world of public administration. Then I also ask that you think about virtue theory, as again, we discussed this week, and talk about how virtue theory applies to public administration. Does it apply? Why does it apply? If you don't think it applies to public administration, why not? And so those are the basic elements of the content of the presentation that you'll be putting together. Again, your presentation should be relatively short, 4 to 5 minutes. Minimum of 3 slides, title slide, your content slides, and then a closing slide. You'll be creating a narrative presentation as you've done before, recording it. You'll then be hosting it. A lot of folks like to host it through YouTube, or if you like Vimeo, it's completely up to you. But then host and embed your presentation into the discussion board. And then, as always, be sure, in addition to that, to also respond to colleagues this week as well. So that is your multimedia discussion board assignment for this week, looking at those 4 theories, pulling 2 of those 4 theories out and talking about examples of those theories in the world of public administration, then focusing on virtue theory and whether or not it applies to the world of public administration. Then your third and final assignment this week is a journal entry. And as we go through the class, every few weeks you will have a journal entry assignment. The purpose of the journal is to help you explore some of these ideas and issues on a personal level, to try and bring these theories into the real world of your personal life and how these theories actually apply to you. So in this journal entry, you're going to talk about the theories that you covered this week in the class, that you covered in your multimedia discussion board post, and to apply those to your personal life. How do they apply in your personal life? Do they apply differently in your personal life as opposed to your life as a public administrator? There's similarities or differences in how they apply personally versus professionally. Again, this is a journal entry, and so we're a little bit more lax when it comes to things like grammatical issues. I would ask that you do proofread it before you post your journal entry. I don't grade the journal entries necessarily on grammatical issues. I'm looking more at the content. I'm looking more at your ability to take the theories that were discussed in this week and then apply those theories to your personal life as well as your professional life as a public administrator. So I think that's about it. That is week number 2. I hope you find the information interesting. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me either through the Ask Your Instructor section of the course, or you can also contact me directly through email. So I hope everyone has a great week, and I'll talk to you again with our introductory video for week number 3.